Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and Hellraiser has been a very beloved ongoing franchise that has kind of taken a downward spiral, right? For a while, it was pretty big, a couple theatrical releases, and then everything went to home video, but it didn't really seem to have the flair and the longevity that perhaps the Chucky franchise did, which has been able to continuously keep moving, and they kind of spawned out of the same decade. So it's very interesting to see that a Hellraiser TV series is in the works because no one really asked for that, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, first things first, if you guys want to help support the channel, you guys can come over to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. This is going to be the hub for all that right now. I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con here in a couple weeks, so if you really want to help get coverage out of that, yeah, that would help out quite a bit. But in the meantime, the link is in the video description, and I appreciate you guys for listening to the spiel. So, back over to Hellraiser, the TV series. According to Slash Film here, word recently broke that a Hellraiser remake was on the way from David S. Goyer, which should send a lot of people already running to the hills. David S. Goyer's name attached to anything pseudo-fan related is kind of like Simon Kinberg at this point, or Alex Kurtzman at this point. There are people in the horror community that are just not going to be very happy with that. But that's not the only plan for Pinhead and his pain-loving plows. According to this, there's a Hellraiser TV series in the works. Details are vague, but it's either going to build on the mythology from the films or create an anthology series, or a more traditional show with an ongoing narrative. But I don't know. I'm not too sure how that's going to play out. I would argue that probably an ongoing narrative would be better than doing an anthology series. Granted, with things like Black Mirror, anthology works really well. But when you already have a number of Pinhead's, themed movies, Hellraiser films, it does make sense to expand upon that and then turn it into something that's going to be interesting. But as Deadline reports, IT producer Roy Lee and Ready Player One producer Dan Farah are set to be opening up the demonic puzzle box and unleash the show into the world. However, there's no network or streaming service in place yet, nor is there even a story. That the rights have been finalized and that it's more than likely going to happen. But so that's okay. So that's kind of weird, right? They announced last month, well, almost 2 months ago now, that David S. Goyer was going to be writing a reboot of Hellraiser. And then two guys decided they wanted to come and secure the TV rights in order to then bring it to some TV network. And I'm curious as to why. I'm really curious as to why that's happening. But first things first, let's take a look at the IMDb pages of the guys in question here. This is Roy Lee. Hugh is one of the producers on the movie or on the show. Yeah, show, right? And this guy's been around for a while. Like this dude, looking at his IMDb, we can see that he's worked on a lot of stuff here. I mean, just look at what's coming up for him. Friday the 13th remake, Battle Royale. Yeah, that is a remake of Battle Royale, which in today's world seems a little bit weird that they're going to want to be working on that. Apparently there's a Departed TV series. The Tommyknockers is going to be getting a movie. Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons. He's executive producer on The Stand, which is currently filming for CBS All Access. Working on Godzilla v. Kong. He actually worked on Godzilla King of the Monsters. Lego Batman 2 is coming out. I mean, this guy, It Chapter 2, Doctor Sleep, The Grudge. I mean, I think we can be fair here. This guy has been around for a while. I mean, just look at this. He was an exec producer on the Disaster Artist. He worked on Death Note as a producer, which is probably how Adam Wingard got the job for Godzilla v. Kong, but he also was a producer on Blair Witch, so he knew Adam Wingard. Maybe not the best. Death Note caught a lot of flack, even though I found the movie to be relatively fun for what it was. But as we can see, this guy has been around for years, and he's been working a lot in the horror genre department with some good movies. Like he did all the, How to Train Your Dragons, the Lego movies. So he's done good movies and he's done bad films. So it's kind of up in the air. But take a look here at Dan Farah, who is the other guy involved in this, and I'm kind of curious to see what he's known for. So he hasn't been as active as Roy, but he is an exec producer on The Crow, which I don't know how well I would take that, considering that they were days away from production, and both the director and Jason Momoa dropped out of the project because of clashes with the studio or clashes with the producers. He was a producer on Ready Player One. He was a executive producer on the Shannara Chronicles, which was an interesting show. interesting show. Had a very, very good, solid fan base, but he hasn't really done much else. So this is kind of his first real vision, our first real dive really into something like this, this kind of cult status thing. I mean, you could argue The Crow potentially, but Ready Player One, obviously the whole thing full of 80s nostalgia. If he was part of the team that was going to be acquiring the licenses or working the deals or brokering these deals, then it's entirely possible that that's where he got his love of the 80s and where he met maybe Clive Barker and was able to work out this particular deal. So this is what we know for Hellraiser, the TV series. But let's find out more about the reboot that's in the work from David S. Goyer, because I do feel the two are going to have to be simpatico. They're going to have to work together. If they don't work together, that's kind of dumb, isn't it? Right? So it says here that David S. Goyer is going to write and produce the Spyglass Media Group's reimagining of Hellraiser. Goyer is known for his screenwriting work on like the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, as well as Man of Steel. He did Blade Trinity, which was terrible. He did The Unborn, Da Vinci's Demons. So, I mean, we don't quite know what he's going to bring to the table, but he says, this is coming from one of the studios guys, Spyglass CEO, Gary Barber says, for generation, Barker's brilliantly twisted and imaginative Hellraiser has haunted the mind of moviegoers with its searing imagery of Pinhead. And so that's basically the thing there. That's how they're pimping it. All right. So there's not much information to go on, but having both kind of be announced within 2 months of each other tells me that there is clearly going to be something there, that there's clearly going to be some kind of connection. Whether or not they turn it into an anthology series like Black Mirror, I don't think it's going to work. I think whatever the reboot is going to be that David S. Goyer is going to do, I have a feeling it's going to tie in directly to that. And that just seems to make the most amount of sense. It just seems to be, I don't know. That's what it says to me. I could be wrong, but I'm curious to know your thoughts, your opinions on this. Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.